Welcome back everybody. This is part 32 on What If Kid Asta Meets Noelle's Mother. I do not own Black Clover or any of the characters in this video. They belong to their own respected authors. Chapter 41. In hindsight, you did everything I asked of you. Gather the magic stones, reincarnate your elf pals, which in turn would free my soul from the prison that sealing magic girl placed on me so long ago. At this, Zagred lowered the hand from his head. At this point, you're no longer required. Your usefulness has long since expired. You killed them. Patry growled lowly, but also angrily. How dare you? Light magic mana began to pour out of Patry, thus beginning to break the bones keeping him bound. You'll pay for everything you did, I swear it. Just as Patry broke free the bones bounding him and fired several light magic arrows or swords towards Zagred, said Devil's lips curved into a dark smile. Soul split. Just as Patry's light magic arrows or swords reached Zagred, they vanished. What? Patry stammered in surprise. Suddenly, he felt his soul splitting from William's body. Patry now in soul form reached out towards William in hopes to grab his human counterpart's hand, but to no avail. His soul formed into a new body. Soon thereafter, Patry lifted his hands up to his face. I'm not bound. He looked up to see that William was bound still. He crawled towards William, but someone stepped on his hand. Patry winced, then looked up to see Ava looking down at him, a dark smile on her face. And what do you think you're doing? Ava questioned. You think I'll let you save William vengeance? A human you've been using for your own selfish goal. Ava pressed her right foot down on Patry's right hand harder, making Patry wince. You've done your work. Now it's my turn. With the help of Morris, I will extract William's mana so that I can reach the next stage of the plan. Patry whispered softly. He then remembered Ren's words. I'm done with you. You are a vile, disgusting, hypocritical disgrace of an elf to my grandfather's tribe. You and your comrades have no respect for his wishes, and you and your members, you killed with no hesitation. You are no better than the humans you claim to hate and despise. You are no better than devils who kill their own kind for their selfish actions. Justice? Revenge? Don't make me laugh. You are but a child who was given too much power and abuses it, and makes the ones he calls his so-called allies his puppets and tosses them away like used-up toys. Asir is the true embodiment of Lick's will, not you nor your allies. She is forever purer and stronger than someone like you. You've only proved that elves are not special nor above anything else. William was naive and too trusting to give his body to a parasite like yourself, she snarled. At this, for the first time in a long time, Patry felt tears escaping his eyes. William, I'm sorry. Patry whispered. Yes, that's right. Apologize. Zagred sneered. Apologizing will do you no good here, little elf. Just accept facts. You use people for your own selfish desires. He picks Patry up and holds him by the collar of his shirt. So Patry was eye level with him, just like us devils. You used William, the humans that joined you, and so on. Though I do find it incredibly ironic that the Zogratis family ended up using you to get what they ultimately want as well. Hilarious. Hilarious. It makes me so happy to know that you've done exactly what was required of you. Send licked my regards when you see him again. Ugh, damn it. Patry grit his teeth. I'll kill you. At Patry's poor excuse of a threat, Rem and Zagred just laughed darkly. Kill me, oh please, Zagred sneered. It looks like you need to be taught some manners. Ha, 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 not quite, Zagred, Rem retorted, a dark smile on her face. He just needs to understand how true despair works. She put a hand to Patry's cheek, which made him shiver. Tell me, elf boy, how does it feel knowing the fact that no one ever wanted you, and when you are wanted, you just end up being someone's tool, a mere object for someone to toss away when your services are no longer required? Patry fell silent, to which Zagred dropped him onto the cold stone floor. Luckily, none of Patry's bones broke. However, Patry's mana signature began to change. It began to turn cold and negative, just like the two devils within the room. Patry's right eye became black, as did his 4-leaf clover grimoire, which now bore 5 black leaves on its cover insignia. At the sight, Zagred's lips formed a dark smile in complete and utter satisfaction. At last, Zagred grabbed the grimoire out of the air and held it like he was holding a teddy bear. Finally, after 500 years of waiting, I finally have a body and a grimoire. Indeed you do. Rem smiled before looking down at Patry, then up at Ava. But what should we do with the elf boy? Ava opened her mouth to speak, but Zagred beat her to it. Vanish. And with that, Patry vanished. To where? probably the Clover Kingdom outskirts or border area. Never mind, Rem remarked. Now, if you'll excuse me, Zagred began, turning on his heel to stride out of the room. I have unfinished business to take care of in the Clover Kingdom. And with that, he was gone. Funny, Ava mused. I was going to suggest that he go to the Clover Kingdom anyway. Just so you know, Rem began, facing Ava. We devils don't take orders from your humans. We only do so because it helps our goals ultimately. Oh, I know, Ava remarked coolly. Now come on. We have some mana to extract from this poor fool. Just as Daza was about to fire her flaming arrow from her bow, Rai's body began to glow gold, his black and white hair becoming all white, his devoid eyes now becoming a goldish yellow. Despite these changes, his clothes remained burnt from Mereoliona's Chaldeus Brachium barrage spell earlier. What's happening? Daza wondered aloud. Mereoliona stared at Raya. With her hands still imbued with her flame magic, his magic power just went through the roof. This is me reincarnated in my elf form, but something feels wrong. Raya thought, let's just say I got a major power-up. Raya replied, though for some reason, this power-up doesn't feel quite right. What do you mean? Daza questioned. You were already plenty strong before. Well, apparently, someone other than Patri put the last magic stones into the stone tablet. Raya retorted, it was probably one of the two Zograduses that are here. Because they have. Raya stopped mid-sentence, finally realizing what was really wrong. Oh no, because one of the Zograduses did it. Then that means, what does it mean? Daza demanded. It means the elves' negative emotions will skyrocket, Raya remarked. He paused, then added, with a tinge of regret in his voice, if only I hadn't been so selfish, if only I had said something, then maybe Patri wouldn't have taken such extremes to bring us all back. He chuckled, amused at himself and his title of Raya the Disloyal to symbolize the opposite of faith. I didn't say anything because I didn't want Patri's anger at the humans to disappear. You, damn fool. Before either Dazu or Raya could blink, Mereoliona leaped into the air, her hand blazing in flames, and slapped Raya across the face, the force sending him crashing through several walls, causing Daza to gap in petrified shock and fear. Mereoliona, Daza stammered, her bow and arrow now gone. You placed your vendetta above the lives and safety of even your people. You hypocrites are no seekers of justice, only the same pathetic selves you claim humans to be. Mereoliona scoffed with disgust, her hand now a fist in flames. You never cared about this tribe, as you claim, only to satisfy your egos. Well, allow me to burn your egos until not even ashes remain. Ugh. Mereoliona and Dazu both heard from the other side of the area after Mereoliona punched Raya through several rock walls. What the hell? Mereoliona, Dazu stammered out again. We need him so we can get Patri to stop. Too late. I'll just pummel him to nothing to make him stop. Mereoliona growled. You can try, Raya retorted nonchalantly, as he walked out of the 6-foot hole in the wall, cracking his neck before his lips formed a sly smile. But you'll fail in the end, Miss Royal. Huff. At least he's gone now, Fried remarked, slowly regaining control of herself. He is gone, yes, Jihol remarked to Fried in her head. Huh? What's going on? Ril wondered, as his body began to glow gold. I'm not sure, Fragile admitted, her body also glowing gold as well. Suddenly, Ril and Fragile's ears became pointed, as well as them, getting red marks on their face. Huh? Fried wondered aloud. Ril and Fragile, still glowing gold, turned to face Fried. The two magic knights that were with Fried on this mission to the Eye of the Midnight Sun. HQ stared blankly at her. Ril, Fragile. What kind of names are those? Ril, now elf-possessed, questioned with a scowl in his voice. I'm Lyra. Not this Ril you said. Damn it. Jihol cursed in Fried's mind. They've been elf-possessed. You have to defend yourself, otherwise they'll kill you. Fried nodded, retriggering her 50% angel power. But this time, on her own, pointing and twirling her black fire magic-imbued scythe towards the now elf-possessed Ril and Fragile. Upon seeing the black fire magic-imbued scythe, elf-possessed Fragile, and Ril stepped back in surprise. Black flame magic, elf-possessed Ril thought, but that magic is used by. Before elf-possessed Ril or Fragile could do anything, two black flame magic, inferno tornadoes were casted and sent right their way, thus hitting them head-on and making them fly or slam into a rock wall, thus knocking them out. Phew, Fried breathed. They won't stay down long, Jihol told her human host. I know, Fried remarked, but where should we? Head back to the Clover Kingdom, Jihol interjected. Who knows what's going on there after you left for this mission? Fair enough, Fried agreed, and with that, she blasted a hole in the wall with her black fire magic, then activated her black flame creation magic. Dark phoenix wings and flew out of the hole she made in the eye of the midnight sun base. Ren stiffened, swiftly standing from the infirmary and quickly looked out the window. Oh, no, she paled. Elfina came out of the infirmary and looked out the window to see the eye of the midnight sun base flying through the sky. In addition to golden lights soaring throughout the sky and landing in multiple spots within the Clover Kingdom. Damn it, Elfina gnashed her teeth. It looks like Patry didn't listen to us. The worst of this will be here in the capital. We have to move quickly. Ren grimaced. Right. Elfina nodded in agreement before frowning deeply. Wait a minute. I feel the mana of the elf-possessed humans battling against the other humans. In addition to before Elfina could finish, a dark blue spatial portal appeared in front of the two, and out came Zenon. The Clover Kingdom is now falling apart, Zenon told Ren and Elfina. I've freed the other 10 dark disciples that were still kept within the dungeon, as well as powered them up to 50% devil power. Why you? Elfina growled. Zenon's a gratis, Ren growled, going for her sword. Zenon took notice of the sheathed sword and humphed. I see. Zenon mused. So you have a sword also forged by dwarves. Interesting. What are you really here for? Elfina demanded. I told you my reasons, Zenon replied nonchalantly. Then he remembered something. Oh, I also came to give you this. Ren? He pulled out a necklace with a blue stone on it from his pants pocket and tossed it to her. Ren caught it, confused. But upon a closer look, she gasped, her eyes wide as she stared at the familiar stone in her hand. Where did you get this? She questioned slowly. At the question, Zenon's lips slowly curled into a dark smile. Where did I get it from? Zenon repeated, the dark smile on his face not faltering. Simple. I killed the prince of the Spade Kingdom, Grinburial, just as he should have been killed 16 years ago. Everyone grew wide-eyed at this as Ren stiffened in silence. Dead. No, that can't be. Then Belle would be. But Salamander and I haven't sensed, Faye thought, shocked, glancing at Ren, whose eyes were shielded by her dark blue hair. Shit. This is bad. You killed Ren questioned. That's right, Zenon replied. So I figured someone like you should have the necklace he wore, to remind you that he's gone and is never coming back. Ren was silent, clutching onto the necklace tightly. Except the fact that Prince is dead, Zenon remarked. That he is. Before Zenon could even finish, he slowly looked down to see a sort of light pierce his chest before several more joined it, causing him to cough up blood. Elfina grew wide-eyed, speechless, suddenly hearing chuckling. She quickly turned, seeing Ren had raised her other hand to launch the blades of light while chuckling, making Elfina shudder. While I do thank you for giving this to me, I believe I want something more suitable, Ren replied. She lifted her head to reveal dark, furious, emerald green eyes. Your head. Another blade of light swiftly flew, piercing Zenon's neck with enough force to send him crashing through the window and crash below. Elfina watched, shocked and frightened, as Ren calmly and coldly stepped down from the window on steps of light before finally reaching the ground as Zenon stood up. Perfect, Zenon thought as he cracked his neck, then his jaw with his right hand. The wounds Ren inflicted to him were healing themselves. You're a fast elf. I'll grant you that, Zenon remarked. However, he triggered his devil power, 55%, 2 devil horns, a black and white horn sprouting his head, as well as 2 wings sprouting from his back. You're powerless within this space. Spatial magic, spatial mana domination. A giant cube of spatial magic mana appeared and surrounded both Ren and Zenon. Ren was unfazed as Faye flew next to her, watching her closely while she only looked at Zenon silently. Elfina looked down to see Ren and Zenon within spatial magic. Spatial mana domination. Crap. Elfina spoke to herself in a panic. What do I do? Faye. Ren spoke, making the spirit look up swiftly. We'll be using that. Faye grew wide-eyed for a moment before he slowly nodded. Of course, he agreed. Go ahead, Zenon remarked coldly. I'm ready. Ren could only smirk before bright powerful mana erupted from her, making Elfina and Zenon gasp in shock. Elfina covered her face with her right arm, groaning a bit in the process. Ng. Elfina groaned. What was that? A spirit dive? Zenon answered Elfina's question before he frowned. But how? My spatial mana domination spell prevents. Then it hit him, and he groaned out of pure irritation. Are you fucking serious? Damn it, you stupid elves, and you're loved by mana BS. Are you furious, Zenon Zogratis, or perhaps jealous? Oh well, either way, you will be dead. the light dispersed to reveal Ren. 4 golden wings from her back, a white halo around her head, her skin having a soft gold glow, and a gold ribbon tied around her waist with a white cross. Yet her green eyes retained their coldness. Zenon stared at Ren's new form with a form of interest, but also with irritation that he couldn't have foreseen her being loved by Mana this much. Spirit dive, Zenon mused. I will not deny its incredible power, but it can take who knows how long to learn it, let alone master the power. Once again Ren chuckled, that same laugh that made Elf Fana shudder in fright. Oh, how adorable, she cooed icily, raising a finger. You believe I'm a novice of spirits? How childish. I never said you were a novice, Zenon replied. You said that yourself. I was simply pointing out as a general statement how long it can take. Ren coldly smiled and moved her finger downward. It happened in an instant that shocked Elf Fana to her core to witness Zenon's Ogratis, skewered by swords of light in all directions, as if becoming a rag doll full of needles. Light spirit magic, holy seraph's swords dance. Ren spoke icily. Now then, enough playing dead. Zenon's Ogratis, bone recovery magic, bone patchwork. Zenon spoke nonchalantly as he blasted away the light magic swords out of his body with a burst of mana from himself, while also healing his injuries with his bone recovery magic spell. The swords instantly flew to float around Ren as she smiled coldly. And here I was sure I pierced your heart. Oh well, 3rd time's the charm, Ren spoke, Elf Fana shivering at the tone. Oh naturally, after all, it's like I said, Ren said with a cruel smile. I want your head, as if I'd let you kill me, Zenon remarked. Regardless, what do you care about more? Killing me for petty vengeance, or the safety of the Clover Kingdom? The sounds of screaming citizens and laughter from the Dark Disciples could be heard in the background, in addition to small explosions caused by spells of elf-possessed magic knights, Dark Disciples, and other people. Take your pick, Elf. Who says I cannot do both? After all, it won't be long till I have your head. Ren cooed wickedly. Zenon, despite Ren's now wicked demeanor, just smiled wickedly back. This spell should be familiar to you, Zenon remarked, raising his right arm up. Bone magic, bone tornado. A swirling tornado of bones appeared in front of Zenon, to which he waved his right hand. Thus said tornado of bones flew towards Ren at a speed slightly faster than a regular tornado due to its lightness. In terms of mass, Ren only lifted her hand as the tornado neared her. Light spirit creation magic. Holy Seraph Gabriel, a shield of pure light formed in front of Ren for it to block the bone tornado. To Zenon's shock, an even greater shock as it bounced back, hitting him directly. He ched as he slid back several feet. Ren, Elf Fana called down to the Elysia elf tribe leader, glancing back over at the royal capital, then back at the fight between the two. Shit, if this keeps up then, Elf Fana thought. Zenon stared Ren down. Humph, alright then, Zenon remarked. Bone magic, undead march, plus bone creation magic, hounds of hell. At his declaration of a dual casting, several skeletal warriors and bone wolves rose from the ground and charged towards Ren. Both spells were imbued with devil power. Quite the undead army, Ren remarked, unimpressed. Light creation magic, Seraph's knights plus light creation magic, Seraph's familiars. Multiple knights and birds of light formed and surrounded Ren, several already attacking several elf-possessed humans and dark disciples in the distance. So many, Elf Fana thought, gaping. Ren, Elf Fana turned to see her human counterpart supporting the still weakened Queen Asir Silva of the Clover Kingdom. Zenon looked up to see Queen Asir and Captain F on a ... So, you're alive after all, Zenon remarked. And here I thought Mother killed you. Ren glanced over her shoulder. Both Asir and Captain Fana shuddered by the dark emerald eyes. Asir, Captain Fana, she spoke. What? Captain Fana breathed, a shiver going down her spine. Ren, why are you? She shivered again, as such a cold feeling coming off of her. Captain Fana thought. Ren, please stop. Queen Asir spoke in a pleading-like tone. If you don't, you'll lose yourself. At Asir's words, Zenon's lips formed a dark smile. Ha, ha, ha. He chuckled darkly. To think that my enemy would be saving me from a savage elf. I'm not saving you. Queen Asir frowned. I just don't want my friend to lose herself. Zenon smiled darkly at her words out of sheer amusement. I see, Zenon remarked. Well, unfortunately for you, she has already lost herself. Just give up trying to save her from herself. Allow her to kill me if she so desires. Ren, Queen Asir tried again. Please, don't do something you'll regret later. Regret? My only regret was not speaking to Yuno before Zenon killed him. Ren frowned. Zenon smiled darkly or in amusement at Ren believing his lie. To think someone as old as her would fall for such a simple lie. Zenon thought to himself, I guess what I read about elves being so easy to fool and manipulate were true, especially considering Zogred manipulated Licht and Patry. Give up on saving your friend, Queen Aesir Silva. Zenon told the Silverette woman sadistically, for she has already accepted what I've told her. Yuno is dead. He raised his right arm up and launched several bone arrows towards the balcony where Queen Aesir stood, still being supported by Captain Fana. And you can join Yuno in the afterlife, just as you should have as well when my battle-crazy sister, Vanica, fought against you 16 years ago. Oh well, better late than never. Swords dance, swords of light flew, shattering the bone arrows, thus making Zenon scowl and looking at Ren, who looked at him with coldness. It seems I have to make you give penance. She frowned, raising her hand. Light binding magic. Seraph's crucifixion. Zenon grew wide-eyed by light suddenly shining behind him. Before he could even turn or react, ropes of light grabbed him to then strap him on a spiked cross of light, piercing his body painfully. Nan, good thing my bone recovery magic. Bone patchwork strengthened my bones, Zenon thought. Otherwise, I'd probably be extremely weakened, or worst case scenario, dead. I wonder which will give out first, your magic or your blood, Ren wondered aloud. How about option C? None of the above, Zenon remarked coldly. Spatial magic, gate of the underworld. A dark blue spatial portal appeared around the light-binding magic, Seraph's crucifixion, thus sucking Zenon up and off the light cross, which fell to the ground afterwards. Elf Fana growled in irritation that another enemy escaped. Again, but at the same time, she felt somewhat relieved. I'm not sure why I'm relieved that Zenon escaped, Elf Fana thought. She turned to face her human counterpart, who was shivering like she was having a fever, which caused Elf Fana to sweat drop. Oh, right. Ren terrified her to bits. Damn it, he escaped. Ren hissed, the magic stone still in a tight grip in her hand. Once I find him, Ren, the tribe leader flinched, looking at Aesir and Captain Fana. Captain Fana's face had slowly turned pale white, while Aesir's face was filled with concern. Note to self, Captain Fana stuttered, never anger Ren. Ren clenched her teeth holding up her hand and opened it to reveal the necklace, making Aesir gasp. Yuno would never let this go. If Zenon had it, she choked. We can't stay here. Elf Fana spoke up. If we do, the elf-possessed magic knights and dark disciples will continue to raise the royal capital before spreading out and attacking the common and forsaken realms. But if we leave the royal capital, then who will defend it? Captain Fana asked, still shivering by what she just witnessed in regards to Ren. Queen Aesir looked up, sensing several mana bursts equating to spells. Ren, come with me. Queen Aesir told the dark bluette elf-human hybrid. We'll defend the royal houses first. She then turned to both Fanas. As for you two, I want you two to go and gather up as many magic knights and other citizens as you can and evacuate them. Ren was silent, only giving a nod as she held the magic stone close. Yes ma'am, both Elf Fana and Captain Fana saluted to Queen Aesir before flying off. After they left, Queen Aesir turned to face Ren. Let's go to House Silva first, Queen Aesir told her. I do not doubt my children's abilities, but I just want to make sure that they're handling themselves well. She then chuckled sheepishly, though I think I'll need some help getting there. She winced after speaking and moved her right hand to her chest, then moved it away as soon as the pain shot through her chest. I guess my body is still feeling the after effects of my severe injury from my fight against Ava. Queen, Aesir thought, light recovery magic, Seraph's blessing. Aesir gasped as pure, gentle light shined on her, healing her injuries as she looked to Ren, who didn't look at her. She began before frowning. Ren dear. She slowly moved her right arm to touch Ren's shoulder, just in case Ren wanted to move away. She could. Queen Aesir's right hand eventually gently touched Ren's shoulder. Ren dear, do you really believe what Zenon said, that he killed Yuno? I don't want to believe it. But this is the man who killed the king and queen of Spade. Ren clutched the stone tightly. And the fact he had Yuno's magic stone hits as well. Ren dear, Queen Aesir spoke softly. If Yuno was really dead, Faye would have known about it. Belle would have also disappeared. She paused, then continued. Zenon came here to give you Yuno's magic stone, and tell you that lie to scare you. But what if it's true and I lost him? Aesir, Ren countered, feeling her chest constrict. If I truly lost him, I couldn't even bear it. I know Ren dear, Queen Aesir spoke softly. But I know Yuno wouldn't go down so easily. He's not dead. If he is dead, I'm certain someone in his group on the mission, or anyone from that mission to the Eye of Midnight Sun base, would say something about it. Ren shook, clutching the stone in both hands as Asir smiled gently. Besides, he promised you that he would court you. Remember? Ren's breathing hitched, placing her clasped hands on her forehead. Yes, she choked. So believe me when I say that Yuno isn't dead, Queen Asir told her. He'll come back, and he'll court you. Think of those things, okay? Ren allowed a few tears to fall down her cheeks as she slowly nodded. Now come on, Ren dear. Queen Asir smiled lightly as she formed her Valkyrie armor. Let's go see how House Silva is doing before moving on and help the others. A dark blue spatial portal opened up within the Spade Kingdom castle halls and out came Zenon. He brushed any debris off of his clothes and strutted through the halls before reaching the throne room. The Spade royal guards that decided to willingly join their cause stepped aside, thus allowing Zenon to enter the throne room. Upon doing so, he stopped in the middle of the throne and gave a bow. I see you have returned from the task I gave you, Ava remarked, turning the throne around to face Zenon, the black armored figure standing next to the throne, its armors crossed. I have, mother, Zenon confirmed. And what is the report to give? Ava asked curiously. Zenon opened his mouth, then closed it, as if thinking over what he wanted to tell his mother about the task that she gave him before she left Clover to return to Spade. After about another few minutes, Zenon spoke. The Dark Disciples and elf-possessed Clover Kingdom citizens are tearing the Clover Kingdom apart. Zenon explained, I also gave Yuno's magic stone to the Elysia elf tribe leader and told her that I had killed Yuno. Excellent, Ava remarked. Morris has just started the mana extraction process on William. Once Mr. Vengeance is out of mana, I'll ship him off back to the Clover Kingdom. Or you could just have me kill him. Zenon retorted nonchalantly before frowning. Speaking of the Clover Kingdom, mother, Ava raised an eyebrow, then gestured with her right hand, as if telling Zenon to continue. The next time you send me there, make sure it's not a task that will anger Ren. I'd rather not experience her being angry again. Thank you. After leaving the Spade Kingdom, Zagred flew across the lands, going straight across from Spade to Clover. Once he reached the Clover Kingdom, he smiled darkly in satisfaction at the screams of terror of the Clover Kingdom citizens, as well as the destruction occurring within the kingdom. Ha ha ha, Zagred laughed. Oh man, the elves are doing so much work for me by destroying the Clover Kingdom bit by bit. He turned his head to see the Zogratis' dark disciples also destroying buildings in the royal capital, as well going beyond that and attacking the out-of-the-way locations like villages and towns that were considered off the beaten path. I should join in and have my own fun too. The question now is where? He moved his right index finger as he slowly turned around and around, as if playing eeny meeny miny mo. Eventually, he stopped turning around, so his right index finger pointed in the direction of the common realm. The dark smile his lips bore only widened. Oh, how wonderful. Zagred grinned as he flew towards the common realm. I wonder which villages I'll come across to wreak havoc on first. A few more minutes into the night passed, and Zagred reached Neen village. He looked down to see that the village was in panic as a young blonde girl who looked no older than the age of 10 had begun attacking other citizens of said village. Ooh, someone has already started. Zagred noted to himself gleefully. I hope that elf-possessed girl doesn't mind if I help her out. And with that, he flew down towards the streets of Neen village. Go 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 go, Teresa told the other citizens of Neen village. Get to safety as fast as you can. A dark Redette boy looked up at her, his body shaking out of fear or concern for her. He opened his mouth to say something. What he spoke came out in a shaky tone. But what about you, as Sister Teresa? The dark Redette boy stuttered out. Teresa smiled lightly and patted the boy's head. I'll be all right, Marco, Teresa told him. Now go with your other siblings to safety. I'll try to stop Marie from killing anyone else. Marco nodded, then ran off with his other siblings. Once he did, Teresa turned back to Marie. Except that's not really Marie, Teresa thought. Right now, she's elf-possessed. The best chance I have to survive is to knock her out somehow. Her hands became imbued with fire magic. No matter how much this hurts me to do, I have, Teresa began, before gaping as a lightning bolt shot elf-possessed Marie in the head, thus causing her to cry out in pain before crumpling to the ground face first. Marie, lightning lance, a cold voice declared. Suddenly, a lightning bolt like lance fired down towards Teresa. Surprisingly, despite her age, Teresa leapt out of the way as the lightning bolt like lance blasted straight through a building, thus causing it to fall apart and explode here and there before it became nothing but rubble. Teresa looked up and felt a chill go down her spine upon seeing Zagred. What the hell? Teresa thought in utter shock. Zagreb looked down to see an elderly woman wearing nun clothing, realizing that she was the one who evaded his second lightning lance. Oh ho, to think someone could evade that. Zagreb commented as he floated down to the ground, so he was around 6 feet in front of Teresa. I must say, for an old woman, you're quite the agile one. Teresa regained her composure and scoffed. Humph, just because I'm old, doesn't mean I'm weak, Teresa remarked, the pages of her 3-leaf clover grimoire turning before eventually stopping. Let me show you what I mean, devil. Flame creation magic. Hunt of the leopard. Suddenly, several fiery leopards emerged in front of Teresa. With a swift motion of her right hand, the group of fiery leopards charged towards Zagreb in an effort to bite, slash, or claw at him. Zagreb smiled in amusement at her attempt to attack him. I commend you for your efforts, Zagreb commented. However, it's not enough to defeat someone like me. Allow me to show you. Water barrier. Upon his declaration, a water barrier formed in front of Zagreb, thus repelling the fiery leopards. Teresa commanded to attack Zagreb before they dissipated. Teresa shed out of irritation. Zagreb's dark smile on his face did not falter as he observed Teresa. I will protect this village until the bitter end. Teresa shot back, her hands now turning into fiery leopard claws, and you'll get your penance right here and now. She then charged or leapt towards Zagreb. Ahahaha. Zagreb laughed in amusement. I must admit you have tenacity. But sadly, it won't be enough to defeat me. Firestorm. At his call, a storm of fire rained down from the sky and hit almost every single building within the village, thus setting them on fire. Thank goodness I evacuated everyone prior, their Sta thought, before turning her attention to the knocked out Marie. I better get her out of here so she doesn't get killed. She raised her right hand up. Flame creation, magic, guiding light, leopard. A leopard formed beside her. Afterwards, she gestured to the down Marie. Get her out of here please, said. Leopard nodded, then went over to Marie, picked her up with its paws, put Marie on its back, then began to run off and out of the now burning village. How noble. Teresa turned her attention back to Zagreb, but also pointless. At this rate, you'll die to the smoke and ash. Don't be so sure, devil, Teresa retorted. I may be old, but it's nothing Monoskin can't fix. After that, she reformed her flame creation magic. Leopard's paws spell. Oh ho, not bad, Zagreb complimented. Still, you have no chance against flame magic. Shining flame cross. Teresa interjected and launched a cross of flames at Zagreb, in addition to fiery slashes. From her flame creation magic, Leopard's paw spell, Teresa stared down where Zagreb stood, seeing as her flame magic, shining flame cross spell had connected. To her irritation, as the smoke cleared, Zagreb was unscathed. Damn it, and because of my age, I can't cast out like 10 spells without breaking a sweat. She gnashed her teeth as a drop of sweat trickled down her face. Ahaha. Zagreb laughed as he brushed any debris off of his body with his hands that looked more like gnarly claws before spreading his arms out. A spectacular attempt, truly. Such a shame that you couldn't hurt me. Ah well. A light bulb went off in his head, and he laughed again. Ha ha ha. Ahaha. I know what I'll do to you. Enjoy being staked to a cross, nun, steel cross. At first nothing happened, then suddenly, a steel cross flew out of one of the burning buildings behind Teresa. She attempted to evade, but before she fully could, said cross impaled her before moving and slamming itself against one of the building's walls that weren't on fire. Teresa gasped and coughed up blood, yet defiantly and angrily glared Zagreb down, as if refusing to give in despite her situation. You may be far stronger than I am, Teresa admitted, coughing up more blood, but I will never surrender to the likes of you, devil. For the first time in a long time, Zagreb's red, slit eyes widened slightly, but not out of fear. No, it was out of surprise by this elderly woman's determination. Despite her desperate situation, she knows she can't win, yet even so continues to fight. Zagreb thought. After about a minute, Zagreb's eyes returned to normal. Then you'll die braver than most, Zagreb remarked as he raised right arm up before thrusting it forward. Tempest of blades. Within an instant, several swords rained down from the sky towards the bound Teresa. Just before the blades could kill her, they were burned to nothing but ash. Oh, Zagreb looked up to see Freed in 50% angel power form. Teresa looked up not long after and saw her grandniece, Freed. Teresa spoke softly. You, devil. Freed spoke towards Zagreb. For all that you've done to my home village, you'll pay. She pointed her scythe at Zagreb, which was now imbued with black flame magic. And don't you think about killing my great aunt, because I won't let you. Zagred's lips curved into a dark smile at Fried's words. Oh, how interesting. Zagred grinned. An angel host. It's been who knows how long since I've seen one. He beckoned to Fried to come at him. Granted in a mocking mannerism, Fried gripped her scythe tightly. After a few minutes, she and Jihol spoke at the same time. Bring it on, Zagred. Both Fried and Jihol shot back at Zagred. At the center point of the eye of the midnight sun's base where the stone tablet is located stood a tall, slender-framed elf with white skin and somewhat effeminate facial features and gold eyes, as well as 2 sets of tattoos on his cheeks, a vertical line under each eye, and in the middle of his forehead, 4 dots forming a diamond bordered by curved lines. Said elf was also wearing a white tunic with a blue belt wrapped around at the waist area. He pulled a sword out of the ground next to him and ran his right hand over it before turning his attention back to the stone tablet. After a few minutes, he spoke up. Oh dear Patri, what have you done? The elf wondered aloud. Taking my name licked, and doing it is whatever you're doing. The elf licked, shook his head before slashing the stone tablet in 2, which spilled out all 10 magic stones onto the ground. He picked them up one by one and pocketed them, then looked up to see a statue on top of a demon skull. In the distance, I recognized that body. Lumiere, I'm not sure how you ended up like that, but I'll get you unsealed. End of chapter 41. Link down to the comments if you want to read the rest of the story. I hope you all enjoy. Goodbye.